Welcome back to the ProMilesOnline video tutorials. Let's take a few minutes and talk about trip options. When you're routing a trip, depending on your situation, a lot of times you're going to want to come in here for each and every leg of a trip and change some settings. That can save you some significant miles and money depending on your situation. First, we'll go to the Edit Options link right here. And that's going to bring up a window of all kinds of different settings that we can change for our trip options. First, you're going to be able to choose your routing method from practical, shortest, or interstate. Trip leg resequencing. If you've got multiple stops, you can have it by default either not resequence those stops and route them in the order you entered them, or you can choose what we refer to as destination fixed resequencing, which means it will leave the origin and the destination as fixed locations, but it will optimize the stops that are between those. And then resequence all will of course keep your origin the same, and then resequence all of the remaining stops for the optimal route. Canadian borders open refers to well, basically any international border, but primarily like if you're going to run a trip from say Detroit over to Buffalo, if Canadian borders are open, it's going to choose to route that through Canada because it saves you a couple of 100 miles. This allows you to force the trip to stay in the United States. Reduced toll road use is going to attempt to reduce toll roads as much as is practical. Of course, there are some bridges and stuff that sometimes you just can't avoid. Hub mode is great for our shippers and warehouse facilities when you're putting in a single origin but need to determine the miles to multiple destinations all at one time and calculate it as individual trips, not as stops as being part of one trip. Also on here we have all 9 classes of hazmat available, and you have the ability to select one or a combination of multiple hazmat classes for your load. On fuel purchase optimization, we have another video specific to that topic because there's so many different parameters and definitions that need to be covered in that section. In the toll section is where you're going to set up your default options for, depending on where you are. Some places do it by weight, some places do it by axle count, and then over here to the left you can also choose from the, I believe there's currently almost 30 different electronic tolling methods, some of those offering discounts, and for any of those that you need to select, just click on one of them, and if you need to select multiple ones, you can hold down your control key and select more than one at a time. The itinerary section, it will calculate where your estimated stops are going to be based on estimated driving time, estimated distance you set between fuel stops. So by default it's going to choose the current time and date, and you can go in and modify that. Time at origin, your loading time, driving time between rest periods. You can set all that up right in here. Now then, on truck type, we can do anything from a 2-axle bobtail up to, what do we have, 7-axle double trailer configurations. And basically what you're going to do here is just go in here and select what type you are. For most of you, it's going to be a 3-axle tractor, 2-axle trailer. Now a couple lines down here, you'll also see a split tandem trailer with a 3-axle tractor. And for each of these, we have some default settings already put in here, from everything from number of axles, the height, width, weight, things like that. And then you can also scroll down and you'll see that there are also settings available for kingpin settings, depending on the jurisdiction. Some measure to the center of the tandems, some to the last axle, some of them from kingpin to the end of the trailer. So we can route based on any of those. Also, you have the ability to put in your axle or tandem weights here. If you want to change one of these from the default settings, you are going to need to go up here and uncheck the default configuration and then scroll down and change any of the fields that you want to. One of the things I really like about this is you can either save these settings as the default, or you have the ability to go in and set up additional, basically, vehicle profiles. That way, for our clients that have mixed fleets where some of them are pulling pneumatics, some of them are pulling flatbed, some of them are pulling dry van, you have the ability to go in and set up each of these and just click Save As and enter a name for the option, and then click Save Options, and now you have that available to you here in your default menu. Thanks for watching. Let us know if you have more questions.